This video is presented by EA Game Changers, as being part of that program granted me access to the closed alpha. I really hope some of you other guys got access to the alpha as well. I know that DICE might be giving away more codes, I'm not exactly certain, but I know that they did hand some codes out to certain creators. I didn't get extra ones unfortunately, but some creators did, and they might be handing them out over the next day or so. I'm really excited to show you what I captured and give my thoughts on how the game has moved on from Battlefield 1. I didn't get to play the game at EA Play because I didn't go, but I have been able to play it in this closed alpha, and I've had a load of fun playing it for most of the day. I know you'll all have burning questions to ask as well and want to get my opinion on certain things. Make sure you leave your comments down below and I'll do my best to get back to everyone. So starting out, you have to realise that this is an alpha. This means the game will run with lower FPS than in the full game, not all features will be included, and the features that are in the game might not run smoothly at all. The first indication of this being the case was the fact that the squad system failed to work, meaning you often got placed in a squad on your own without the ability to move out or invite others to join you. This has been noted by EA and DICE, however they haven't really got a fix for it right now. There's not much you can do apart from just join a new game every time and hope that you get put into a squad, because squad play is of course incredibly important in Battlefield 5. In regards to the FPS, that'll be fixed for sure. I'd expect people to get similar performance to what they experienced in Battlefield 1, with the added possibility of crashes being patched out of the game. With the alpha, I have not had one single crash in about 5 to 10 hours of gameplay, whilst in Battlefield 1, I get crashes quite a lot. Let's start out with the gunplay. So far, so good. I'm really enjoying how things have changed from Battlefield 1, and I think many of the Battlefield 4 fans will prefer the gunplay in Battlefield 5 to what we had in BF1. I did of course watch a lot of videos and a lot of the stuff from EA Play, and I was impressed with what I saw, but you don't quite get the right understanding of what's going on unless you play the game yourself. I think it's really awesome. The time to kill is fast, however the weapons are harder to control at certain ranges, limiting you to what you can achieve. In Battlefield 4 you could tap fire an AEK and kill people at really long ranges and also be super effective at the close ranges. With Battlefield 5 you can tap fire some of the close range guns to get that effectiveness at range, but of course it is far more difficult, and there's that effective range system that we had in Battlefield 1 reintroduced in BF5, which is really cool. An example of this is in the medic class. I enjoy playing the medic class loads, and I'm starting to really get to grips with it in Battlefield 5. In BF5 of course there aren't many weapons in the alpha so far, but you get two in the medic class. You get the Gewehr 43 semi-auto rifle and you get the MP40 SMG. The Gewehr 43 semi-auto rifle has a 257 rate of fire and very easy to control recoil, allowing you to cause serious damage at mid-range. The MP40 SMG has a 539 rate of fire, less damage than the Gewehr, but also far more control and hipfire capabilities at those closer ranges. So you see what I'm saying? You get a nice balance with the two weapons, and it really depends what you want to do with your gameplay. Do you want to be a close-up medic, or do you want to be a medic fighting a little further back? You take the Gewehr 43 with that scope, with that almost like a DMR sort of weapon that you can be very effective with at those mid-ranges. The movement. This one is really difficult to comment on, as I haven't played the game enough to tell you exactly what I feel about it, although I would say that it seems to be an improvement on the sluggish gameplay that you had in Battlefield 1. The soldiers feel more fluid in BF5, and there are a couple of certain features that have been introduced that I love, the main one being the fact that you can now crouch and run. That's really cool for getting around certain parts of cover that aren't quite tall enough to conceal you, but when you crouch they are. You can also obviously go on your back, prone, move around on the floor, that sort of stuff. I haven't really used it that much because I don't go prone a lot in Battlefield games. I don't really see the need for it unless I'm actually trying to hide and avoid a shot, and in that case it doesn't really matter what way I'm facing because I plan to get back up pretty soon. With the health, this is another thing that I was quite pessimistic about when it was first announced, the fact that you couldn't actually heal back up to full HP, but after playing a little bit I realised that it's quite awesome what DICE are trying to implement. Basically, with the health regen, you can't get back to full HP on your own. You need a medic to come along and help you out, or you need to visit a medic station. There are many around the map. Essentially, it's just a med bag that will heal you back up and can't be destroyed. Now, a lot of players don't engage in teamwork in BF1, and you'll have noticed that in Battlefield 1 a lot of the time you don't get revived, players run past you, they run over you and don't pick you up, and that's probably going to be the same in Battlefield 5. The big change though is that if you play in a squad with friends in BF5, which lots of people did, you'll benefit hugely, and those players that are ready to engage in team play will benefit massively, more so than you did in BF1. This means that teamwork will be a huge factor in BF5, and what you need to do if you aren't on the receiving end of any teamwork is to join a Discord or a platoon and play with a group of players that are ready to help you out. You'll coordinate together, you'll cap flags together, and obviously you'll revive each other and it'll be really good. Reviving players as a medic takes a little longer than in Battlefield 4 and BF1, however that is still not really that bad. The only thing I would say is that there is a small pause just after you finish the revive and DICE need to make that transition much smoother. I want it to be in my control with my soldier, and I'm choosing when to move away from that revive instead of standing still for half a second ready to be sniped back to the spawn screen. If you aren't a medic, you can still revive your squad mates, however this takes a long time. I wouldn't really suggest doing it unless your squad mates are in cover, and if you are a medic, make sure you use those smoke grenades and get your teammate that you plan to revive covered in the smoke so you don't get shot yourself. Looking at team play overall, this is somewhat limited due to the squad issues in the alpha, however I do feel as if you're trying to help your teammates out a little bit more than you did in Battlefield 1 purely because of the nature of the game. In BF1 you could solo quite successfully in any class on any map and didn't really require your teammates to assist you. In BF5 you almost have to get that assistance, otherwise you're at a huge disadvantage, but as I mentioned earlier it's really important to make sure you get yourself some competent squad mates. Taking a look at the UI, I think it's a little clustered and far too much is going on, making it difficult to understand at times, but it's nothing major. DICE will of course alter this, it's only an alpha and they'll take all the feedback on board. Of course I'm leaving my feedback in the appropriate places so DICE will take on board what I'm saying, but you also have to remember that as long as DICE introduce the ability for you to turn certain things off, like if you wanted to change the size of the minimap or turn off the kill feed, things like that, you're obviously going to be able to alter your own game however you want. I also hope that they introduce a setting to turn off the snow on the Narvik map because that just gets in the way and it makes it really difficult to spot players. Vehicles, this is something I'm slightly concerned about, especially with the tanks. They seem to be very similar to those in Battlefield 1 in terms of the mechanics. You repair in the same way, you move slowly as you do in BF1, and you're fairly limited with what you can do against other armour due to the fact you now have to travel all the way back to base in order to resupply and repair to full HP. This means that you can't take on other tanks all the time because of course you're just going to be at lower HP. Maybe you are requiring a teammate to help you out and repair you from the outside. I need to play a bit more in order to get a real grasp of what's going on, but it seems as if it's lacking, especially with angles and the way you can block shots and decrease the amount of damage a tank's doing to you. I don't know, I need to take a closer look at it, but overall I'm kind of on the fence. The planes sound and look awesome. It's insanely cool seeing a dogfight take place overhead whilst you attempt to cap a flag on the ground, however it is again something that I need to experience more before giving an overall verdict. Squad commands. The introduction of squad commands is quite cool and I certainly think it promotes team play to a larger extent, and that will definitely help the direction DICE are trying to take Battlefield 5. You work towards gaining a certain score as a squad and then the squad leader gets to spend the points on either a tank or a V1 bomb that has the same impact as a cruise missile had in Battlefield 4. Really cool stuff, and I'm excited to see what else DICE add in the future. And I didn't see it getting spammed either. It wasn't really something that was constantly happening. You didn't see V1 bombs everywhere. A couple around as squads worked out that they could use these things to help them and assist them cap an objective. Finally, my favourite thing from the alpha so far, the destruction. Impeccable as always from DICE, destruction creates an incredible atmosphere to battle in. Buildings fall down far more accurately than in Battlefield 1, and this will only get better as the game moves into beta and then the full release. My highlight so far has been spotting a sniper in a window and then blasting him straight out with a Panzerfaust or a tank shell. So that is what I think of Battlefield 5, the alpha at least. I will of course bring you more videos on Battlefield 5 as I play the game more, and I'm looking to put together a couple of top plays episodes. Thanks for watching guys. Remember to leave your questions in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video.